Hello and welcome to another FY podcast. My name is Alan Morales. I am your host, and I am here with my co-host.
Maria de Andar.
Vanessa.
And today's topic is taking finals test. So let's start with a simple question. How do you normally approach a test that you for sure know that you haven't studied enough and that you don't really feel confident taking it? How do you approach it? Anybody?
Well, I guess I silently pray first, right?
Whatever helps.
I guess the example I can give you is when I was taking astronomy 2, my second semester, and it was like the final test. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna wing it. I mean, I did study before. I studied before like class started and everything.
So like 5 minutes before the class?
No, like 20 maybe. I mean, I study at night, but like I don't do astronomy. Like I needed the credit. So I don't know. I try to memorize everything because he did say like these are the slides that are gonna be there. So I tried memorizing those, but then sometimes he adds things that are not there. So like, I ended up studying everything. So like,
So you just try your
I winged it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there are some things that I did know, but then like I get confused sometimes because like I see the answer and it's like it could be this one too, you know. So
Yeah,
like,
I feel like there's not much to do anymore if you are not ready.
Oh, I guess I'm the expert on this one. Most of my tests, I do win them. Just by the sheer, like, I don't know why, but I get lazy sometimes. So I know I have a test. And I'm like, I should really study. I open my notes, and I just get so tired that I chose not to study and then sleep. But the thing is, when I take a test that I'm not really prepared for, I try to not memorize everything because I don't have a photographic memory, so that doesn't help. I just go, try to relax, and take one question at a time. Most of the time, the first 5 questions, and if it's only 5, then good luck. But most of them is like 10, 20 questions, and the first 5 kind of give you like the structure for the rest of them. And at least you know 2 or 3, because they're simple. The teacher wants to like ease you into the test sometimes. That's if it's a good teacher, otherwise, you're screwed. But most of the time, those 5 questions help me understand, like, hey, I should really answer this. Because maybe question 3 has something to do with question 15, and then you look at it and you're like, wait, this is right, so you go back and then fix number 3.
oh yeah, I've done that.
So sometimes the test helps me kind of not fail. So that's what I do when I'm not prepared. So now let's look at the other spectrum. How do you approach a test that you actually study for? Like you spend time and you know that, hey, I'm ready for this. What's the difference?
Well, the one that you're not prepared for, well, at least for me, I know I take more time on it. I'm like, I go and I see the first question, I'm like, nope. Go to the next one and like, you know. And then the ones that I know that I'm prepared, it goes by fast. Because like you look at the question like, oh, like this is easy. Like, oh yeah, it's this one. I'm like, oh, it's this one, you know. So like for me, I feel like it goes a little bit faster. Because I mean, I did study for it. I somewhat know the material. I remember things, you know.
I see. I think we're the opposite.
Yeah, for me, I do take my time. When I'm ready, I breathe and then I take my time. I read the question carefully, and in case I don't understand or don't know, I always circle the number. I'm like, okay, I'll be back. I'll come back to it. Then I go to the next one, and when I'm done, I go back to all the circle ones. I'll work on it slowly.
Oh yeah, like the ones that I don't know, I put like a little mark on the
Yeah,
board.
me too.
Well,
Like go back, and then For me, at the very end of the test, if there's like still two that are marked that I know for sure that I have no idea what it is,
Juicy.
I just guess.
Always juicy. No.
No, not always. Someone like you see it and like it has happened to me where I'm like, I'm gonna put C, but I'm like, this is not correct. Like I know for sure, so like you don't always put C for a reason.
Okay, fine. Choose the one you like.
But everybody has a system.
No, but what I mean by being different is that the ones I don't really know. I go fast on them because I'm like, hey, this sounds right. Yeah, that one, yeah, that's how it works. But the ones I study for, I take a little bit more time. They still go fast, but because I know the formulas or the concept of everything, I go slower to make sure that my formulas, like, let's say I use a formula that gave me 4.2, but if I use it differently, it can give me A and C. So I need to make sure that I know which one I'm choosing.
Also, a good approach I would do in anatomy, because anatomy can be so tricky, like your answer choices. So what I would do to, like, when I would go back to revise my test, I would always put like a little note, so I wouldn't change the answer. Like I would put why I chose that answer.
So you
it would help.
Remember you, like, hey, don't mess it up.
Yeah, and I would write down why I thought it was the answer. So when I would go back, I wouldn't want to change the answer again.
Yeah, because honestly, there's different approach to taking a test because sometimes you doubt yourself, and it has happened to me where like, especially like multiple choice, where you're like, oh, it's this one, but then you're like, you know what? No, you change it, and then when you get your test back, you were right. Yeah. So like sometimes. Because it depends, because in other ones you're like, you do one and then you change it and it was actually, the second time was right. Like just, it's difficult at times.
Because I know my sister, she doesn't believe in revising your exam. She's like, okay, I chose that answer for a reason, I'm not going back. Yeah. Like that's my sister, and not me. I'm like,
and then it goes back to what he said about the test. How like question number 3 is the same as question 14, you know, and they don't go the same. It's like, okay, I did something wrong.
Yeah, that I'll give you some tips that my teachers have given me, because I could have done amazing in one test and then flunked it for one simple reason. The questions I knew I was right, I for some reason started questioning them, and I changed my answers just because I started to have the feeling I was wrong. And my teacher told me, like, hey, once you answer something, unless you feel extremely sure, like there's no other way that you cannot be right, don't change it. Because you already put effort, you know this is the answer you should have gotten, leave it. Unless you know that is wrong for sure, or that another question that you did after or before doesn't match, that's when you start looking at it. Otherwise, leave it alone, because you can be right, and if you change, you're gonna get it wrong. Because my teacher, he saw my problem and he was like, okay, look, this is what you do. So I think that's one thing that people should keep in mind. Like, once you choose an answer, make sure that unless you feel,
you're confident about it.
Yeah, if you're confident about it, don't move it, because you're gonna mess up your grade. And also, you can fail a test.
Also, those tests that are open-ended, so like, I don't know, for first-year students who are taking basics. For me, I had history, and it was open-ended questions. It was essays that I had to do. So it's a question about like, how did the Indians live from, and they came from this year. So like, it's memorizing. So in some tests, you do have, it's better to memorize instead of, you know what, I'm not gonna study. No, like, even if you just study a little, memorize something,
it triggers your brain.
It sparks other content.
And it's good that you bring out open-ended test, because the way you prepare for them is different. Like, for example, I prefer multiple choice, because at least I have a chance of like knowing which one is the answer. But in open-ended tests, I tend to do either amazing or extremely bad. What about like all of you? How do you prepare for open-ended?
like I said, I tried memorizing. So like it depends, cause like sometimes you don't get open-ended tests.
Yeah, I haven't had an open-ended.
What?
No.
I always have it in like my math classes. Like that's
Well,
My
that's-
classes, yeah.
Yeah, math are usually open-ended.
But
like,
because you have to, but you memorize the formulas to be able to work the problem and all that. So
yeah, let's go with that one. No, the thing is, I think like the open-ended test it's only when the teacher is really confident that you're gonna pass, or just wants to test that you actually know how to do things. Because I know that I asked people before that if you when they see an open-ended test, they get nervous because they don't have a reference to what the answer might be. So no matter the number you get, that can be the number, or you can be extremely wrong. So just to kind of wrap this up in a bit, what are some tips that you will give like first years and sophomores? Because I think they need the most help when they, approaching the test that we take here.
one thing I'm gonna say is that like a test grade doesn't define you.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, but the school doesn't think that way.
But because sometimes you can be super prepared for the exam, but when it comes like to it, like some people can freak out.
I think it's not only their grade. I think what freaks them out is when they compare themselves to the whole class. Because I see, me included the first year I was here, I will compare my grade to the entire class. And I would not be the lowest, but I will be low sometimes. And I will feel really odd. I will feel left out. Like, why am I here if this guy like aced it and I'm like almost failing here? So
it's not just that you compare yourself with like the grades you had in high school, because it's completely different.
Yes.
It's not doesn't like not necessarily with like your classmates, but with yourself, with how you were back then.
I think you compare both. You compare your,
both. Like I have a friend who she told me that in high school she used to get like A's and B's and C's, and like starting here in the university she tried like more, and she's been getting all A's. Like I've been getting a lot of A's. I've applied myself, and like, cause like how I did back then. So like I guess if you're a very good student in high school, don't take it easy in college. Like don't be like like it's easy, I can do it. Like don't
Wing it.
don't wing it. Don't like apply yourself, especially like in those majors that are like
They're
more advanced,
competitive.
more competitive.
well, the thing is, it's more about the way you study, like the habits you had before. Because people that get B and C's, I'm pretty sure they will have a harder time like changing the way they adapt here. Because hey, I got B and C's and I did well. I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. They won't really apply themselves until the second year. So for people that get B and C's, I will say that yes, I know that it might be repetitive, but just take more time and study. Just review the things. You don't have to spend hours. 30 minutes is enough. Just review the things that you've been seeing in class, and you're gonna see an improvement in your grades. And seeing how doing this is gonna help you connect like the dots that you might be missing, and understand information more easily once you go back to class. Just reviewing for 30 minutes the class, the notes, the PowerPoints, and whatever the teacher gives you is gonna help you a lot understanding the topic. Or what do you think? Any last thoughts?
Just don't be late to your test.
Study hard.
Oh, yeah. So just to wrap it up, like they said,
Eat breakfast.
oh,
Get a good night's sleep.
what is sleep? No, but
This is college.
like my colleague said, get a good night's sleep. You actually do need it. Trust me. You kind of just pull an all-nighter and be fine. Eat breakfast. It's gonna help you. It's gonna keep you awake. Be in time. Even if you can, maybe be like 10 minutes early, so you can review for the last time. And just try your best. Just know that if you put everything you got into a test, once you finish, you're gonna feel relieved that you know you did your best and you don't think that you could have done better. So, here we will wrap up the FOE podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.